Stage 1, pressing for flight.
We're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. Clear. The clock has started.
The clock has started.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to Pressing for Flight, live from the Space Coast, where the schedule never holds. And unfortunately, Matthew Jordan stopped rocking. He was rocking so hard during the intro. You should have seen it.
I always do, man. That song needs like a really good drop.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
That it is.
Yeah, so here we are, another week. We have a double header coming up this week, y'all. Joining me this week, we have Matthew Jordan.
Hi.
We have Matthew, Mr. Cutshall.
What up?
We have Becca, Mr. Penland. She already has her mic in place, damn it.
Oh, crap. Hold on.
Where's your mic?
Right here it is.
Okay, before we get into space stuff, we robbed you guys of some very pressing information last week, where we took the week before off for a reason, and I said that we were going to explain what that reason was. And we never did. So, Becca, you want to just... I don't need to lead you in. There's a guy that comes into work. He's in a band, and he wants Becca to sing.
Yeah, there was a guy that was coming in for several weeks and, got to know him a little bit. Older guy from New York. And one day got on the topic of how he's in a band in the area. And the way he presented it was that it was just a couple of guys that would get together and have a good time and jam. And it was like some soul music. And I jokingly said, "You looking for a singer?" And he said, "Yeah, come on down." And so we talked about it for a couple of weeks. But the only day that I could really go was a Thursday. So we waited till there was kind of a lull in the goings on around the area and went out there, and I basically, long story short, auditioned to be a part of this band
Unknowingly.
Yeah.
He kind of sold it like it was just going to be like a jam session, just have some fun. We didn't realize it was a practice. It was their practice, and you were auditioning for the band.
Yeah, and I got the spot if I want it.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. So
That's always fun.
just so y'all know, Becca, she's a great singer. We haven't done it in a while, but we like to go and do karaoke. I'm usually the stick in the mud, but Becca wants to do it all the time, like every day of our lives.
If anybody wants to go, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm available.
Yeah. So, just to give y'all a little bit of a taste. Where's my thing here? Okay, so what am I gonna do? I gotta hide that. Bam. Okay, there we go. And this is just a quick little. This is the song that they were trying to get her to learn. She'd never heard this song, mind you. We walked in and I don't think we mentioned. She gave him like 40 songs, like a list of 40, because he asked, "What songs do you sing?" And she gives him a bunch of songs that she can sing, and didn't get to sing any of them really, because they just kind of started going through the motions of their practice. But before they started, they played this song for her, and then when they were done, basically they were almost done with their practice, then they asked her to come and sing this song that she just heard for the first time 2 hours ago. There you go. And then they go through some more stuff. It's if you've never been to a band practice, that's kind of how it works. You just kind of work through slowly with a new song. But there you go. So that's what we were doing. Becca can sing. Maybe one day we'll do a song on Pressing for Flight.
We'll do a whole musical episode. Everything we talk about.
I can sing too,
Yeah.
so we can do duets.
Fantastic.
And I have a guitar right here.
Perfect.
What sucks is when you're doing, when you're trying to, you can't sing over Google Hangouts because there's a delay. Like your rhythm is off. You can't sync it up. So I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. We'll write a song about rockets, Atlas and Falcons.
There's plenty of songs about rockets. We could do Major Tom.
They're one of my favorite bands, Angels and Airwaves. They have a song called "Love Like Rockets," and that's a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
That's old Tom DeLonge. Most people don't really like his other band. They only like Blink-182, but I think Angels and Airwaves.
Yeah, Angels and Airwaves is good, man.
You like them?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
man. I'm a huge Blink-182, Tom DeLonge, all of them, dude. I love all the Plus 44, all of them, man.
Do you
I
like
all that stuff.
Wait, is Tom DeLonge the one who became like a UFO expert?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
I was about to say, like,
Spiders!
so much so that the CIA has actually spoken with him to tell him to calm down.
They actually just released a mini Stratocaster you can buy that he signed for like $75. It's like one of those mini guitars.
Nice.
I'm thinking about getting it.
Mini, like how
Do it,
many?
dude.
Like
It's a mini. It's like not
just,
even
like
a
you
foot
can't play
long.
it.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
You're right. It's a display piece, but it's like $75 pre-order right now.
Oh wow! And what is that? Does that go to what's his thing called? Something Academy. What is his?
I can give you the link later. It's all
Oh
good.
crap! I forgot what the name of his UFO school is.
Right. Yeah. And he's got a bunch of actually
I
respectable.
didn't even
people.
know he was into that until I was listening to an episode of what's the guy he used to do the nights like late night show, and he would like talk about conspiracy theories and stuff. He died a few years
You're talking
ago.
about you're talking about Coast to Coast.
Yeah, Coast to Coast.
George Norrie?
AM. Not Nori,
But
the guy who was good. Nori is Snorri.
Yeah.
He's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's always been into aliens, man.
I
Majority
forget
of
the other
time-
guy's name. Like I got turned on to the show by a friend of mine. Shout out to my friend Mr. Jones. But yeah,
I used to listen to a lot of Coast to Coast, man. When I was
Coast to Coast is fun.
Yeah, playing in a band, or any road trip. If you're ever on a road trip late at night, just put that on, and you just hear the most whacked out stuff. I mean, it's and they'll put anybody on there. They will put.
Oh yeah, and the guy I was talking about, and I cannot remember his name. Forgive me, but he would make any person who called in feel like what they were talking about was important.
Yes.
Even though he might completely disagree with them.
Mm-hmm.
He would ask them relevant questions. He would actually have a discussion with them, even though they had completely off the wall craziness about like the 34 different types of aliens that are being kept at Area 51 and all kinds of really crazy stuff.
Now, Carl Sagan was on there one time. I'm thinking of a specific clip where he had someone call in, and he kind of Carl got kind of heated as Carl Sagan could possibly be. But I remember him saying something like, well, clearly the listener is not open to listening to reason, so maybe we should end this call, in his Kermit the Frog way. See if you can find it. But let's get on with the show. So today marks the 1 year anniversary of Falcon Heavy STP-2, which launched my favorite, which is also a Carl Sagan thing, Light Sail 2, which was a little spacecraft, I think it was a 3U spacecraft with a massive solar sail that unfurled once it was out there.
Yeah.
And of course its purpose is to demonstrate that solar sailing works, and they've done it. It's actually still up there. They posted some photos the other day, which I probably should have looked those up. But that was also the first time I ever got to set remotes. And this is my disaster of an attempt of my first one, because I did not put my hand warmers that I had with me. They didn't make their way to the lens. So, it's happened to just about everyone that's ever set remotes. You forget the hand warmers, and you learn that lesson real quick. And
you forget something.
And you forget something. And actually, this is the inside the fence spot at 39A that they don't even do anymore, because in this grassy area here is where they're constructing the Starship launch pad. So they don't let you set remotes inside there anymore. But anyway, so we had, I want to say we had 30 minutes there, and I was just doing one camera, and I took up that entire 30 minutes, still didn't put my hand warmers on. And then they're like, all right, come on, we got to go. So I get back on the bus, and as soon as I sit down, I'm like, and I knew better than to be like, hey, will you let me go put hand warmers on? I wasn't going to do that. I just crossed my fingers and hoped that the moisture in the air wouldn't get the best of me. And well, it did. But yeah, I went on to do some better stuff. I actually included in this tweet some better stuff. That's my one with the dove in the shot. Old flame bird. And this, I think, is so far becoming my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then that one's, I think, JC sat there. So yeah, go SDP2, go light sail. Bam.
Yeah, that was a fun night, man.
Dude, yeah, we were out at Jetty Park with John and Crystal, Chance from Launch 360, Sarah Silva was out there.
Ryan Bell was there for a minute.
He was there, and then he changed his mind. Like he wasn't gonna watch from the press site, and then like last minute he's like, "That's it, I'm going out of the press site." So yeah, that was a good night. Like I think that was like I met more people that I already knew of that night than like ever before. It was like everybody was at Jetty Park that night. It was a good night. Moving on. So tomorrow there's Spacewalk, and you may recognize one of the faces that's going out. That's one Mr. Bob Bankin, launched from the Space Coast just a few weeks ago.
It's exciting stuff. Yes, this is his 7th spacewalk.
Oh, pop quiz chat. How many spacewalks have they done at the International Space Station? We're not counting like early like Gemini and when they were first learning, and we're not talking moon landings, but just International Space Station moonwalks. We'll give them time to think about it.
I want to say if Harry's in the chat, I think he knows this one.
Oh, speaking of Harry, did you guys know that Harry is available to be on podcasts? We saw him on Rudd's.
Hey, there's Harry with a 152, by the way.
Told you. I knew Harry wouldn't disappoint.
Well, it's not right. Sorry, it's incorrect. According to NASA, that's not the right number. But yeah, on the Rudd's podcast, make sure you guys are checking them out. That's Seth and Daryl. They're in the chat right now. Yeah, so Harry Stranger was on their podcast, and that alerted me to the fact that Harry is ready to do podcasts. So we're going to have Harry on at some point, maybe the next couple weeks. We got to get Ken on. But yeah, so I'm seeing, Harry's said 152. Just a guess. Okay, it was just a guess. The correct answer is 227, and this will be number 228. And my source is this here NASA blog. I was like, don't show this page and scroll down to this point. This will be the 228th spacewalk. Matt, you said that, Jordan, you said that you kind of had been following this and kind of knew a thing or two about it. So what are they doing?
Okay, so they are replacing the last of the original batteries that were installed in the space station when it was built.
Like original, okay, goes all the way back. Yes,
these batteries are like 20 years old.
Wow.
So they want to replace these what are called nickel hydrogen batteries that have like a 20-year lifespan with some lithium batteries that have like a 50-year lifespan. So there's going to be 2 spacewalks to complete the replacement of those batteries. The batteries arrived up there with the Japanese cargo ship that came up last month. And it's going to require 2 spacewalks, one to the starboard truss, the far starboard truss, and one to the far port truss. That's going to be the next spacewalk that's happening next week.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's next week?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. And this animation shows kind of what they're going to be working on. This is like a big like pallet of batteries. These are monster batteries, by the way.
Yeah, they're huge.
Using their little tools. There is audio here, by the way. They're kind of explaining it.
Tool, or PGT, to complete the release of the bolts. The large battery.
I like this part where he just flips it around like it ain't nothing.
Work together to move it To the
I mean,
empty
it is
disposal.
technically weightless in space.
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah.
increases
There's still.
to
I'm not sure what the term is,
battery
like
with
momentum,
empty
like the
slot
fact that
lengths.
it's massive. It
In
would
the
still be
orbiting
really hard to
Yeah,
flip
it
around.
has its own momentum and inertia. Yes.
Yeah.
in slot
Yeah.
A. After placing
So
space
this is going live. They're gonna be showing this on NASA TV. Oh no, where's my? Oh, it's right here.
7:52 is when it starts, I believe. 7:52 Eastern.
Eastern. Yeah. See the duo. Okay. Yeah. They'll turn their battery power on in the suits at 7:35 roughly tomorrow morning, and that's Eastern time. So yeah, and then they exit. What'd you say?
7:52 is what I heard for when they actually exit the space station.
Okay. Yeah. So and you can watch the live coverage starting at 6. And
Oh yeah, NASA TV loves to put their spacewalks. Now, I will warn anybody who's not like really into space stuff. It's incredibly boring watching these spacewalks, just because it's 7 hours of two dudes doing what, if we were on Earth, would amount to about 30 minutes worth of work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you're basically watching someone's entire workday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
if you have the time and the desire to watch someone do a job for 6-7 hours, then I fully recommend it. It is fun to watch. You get incredible views up there.
it's good background music. If you're working on something, like if, say you're sitting at a computer, you can have it going in the background, and when there's anything interesting happen, you can switch over to it. There's not many people that can just sit there glued to it, for 7 hours straight,
Yeah, the only time I ever watched a spacewalk for that long at a time was back in, what was it, 95, when they were doing the repairs on the Hubble.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine, because that was kind of tense.
That was it was intense to begin with, because they were putting the space shuttle in an orbit that they had never put a shuttle in before to retrieve the Hubble.
Right.
So it was intense in that aspect. And then it was intense because if they don't get this right, this billions of dollars that we've spent is just blown.
Right. Yeah.
So,
for anybody that isn't aware, when the Hubble Space Telescope was launched, it was nearsighted, basically. Like the company that made the mirror for the telescope, they ground it to the specifications that they had arrived at, that they needed to, but those specifications were wrong.
Yeah, their specifications were done in like American units, not European units, not scientific units like we would normally see. So those specifications were incorrect because the company that made the mirror was actually a German company, and they were thinking, oh, these are European spec.
Yeah.
These are international standard specs instead of being American.
There's I think I'm thinking of the Discovery series, When We Left Earth. I bring it up a lot because it is really a great series. It goes through the history of NASA and stuff, and then after the moon landings, it goes. There's a couple more episodes, and it covers some of the big space shuttle moments, and that was one of them. And in that documentary, they show the press briefing that took place after they realized that all the images were coming out blurry, and you see some program manager. I'm not sure if he was NASA or if he was actually with the company that made the mirror, but he's just a deer in the headlights. He's just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we did this.
Yeah, no, yeah. There was a lot of resentment that came from that, and they were worried. But mistakes happen. We've plummeted things directly into Martian soil because we had incorrect measurements. So
Yep.
it's not the first time or last time that kind of thing is going to happen. At least a life wasn't lost.
Yeah. And at least this one, they were able to send up. What was it? A lens? What was it that actually fixed the problem?
They actually placed like 2 or 3 very large lenses into they replaced
like the cylinder,
the actual aperture there, and as well as placing some electronics, new software units to assist with the compensation. Yeah.
Yeah. So what Bob and Chris are doing is nothing like that. They're just going to replace some batteries.
Yeah, no, they're just pulling some batteries, and this reminds me of a video I was just watching about building things in space. It was one of the companies that's trying to get the contract from NASA for Gateway, and they were talking about one of their biggest developments is in errant object retrieval. Like, the astronauts are working, they don't necessarily have control over everything that's happening. And if a tool or a part flies away, they don't have a way to really go get it if it gets too far away from where they're at.
Right.
The Canada arm only goes so far.
Right.
So this company was developing robots to actually run out and grab tools. One of them actually had like a claw on it that would shoot out and grab a tool if it was within a couple of feet.
Okay.
And then there was an alarm bot that just basically stood watch over the astronaut's shoulder, and it would set off an alarm if it noticed that a tool was floating away. And then the third robot they were going to develop was actually going to fly out and catch any tools or parts that had flown away. And so it was very interesting.
Has that any of that come to fruition? How long ago was
It's not
that?
come to they released their last video, and I'm trying to it's the Gateway Foundation is the name of the company, and they released their latest video was in May, so it was not that long ago, and they've really been talking it up because they do want to get this contract from NASA, and their ideas are outstanding. Just from the perspective of someone who at least knows a little bit about what they're talking about, I could see that this would be the way to build a large rotating space station.
Oh man, that's what we need. It's just stupid expensive. Yeah, Seth said I need to find this press conference. Well, if you want a great documentary series, I bought it on Amazon Prime. And I don't think it was that much, I don't know, $10, $20 for the entire series. It could be a little more than that, but it is great. I go back and watch. I've owned it for a few years now. I hope it's still on there to purchase, but it is so good, and you'll love the entire thing. It's got interviews from astronauts that have now passed away. You've got John Young on there. You've got Neil Armstrong on there. You've got all these awesome people in the early days of NASA, and then you've got some of the stuff that leads up to kind of where we are now. It doesn't have anything about commercial crew or anything like that, but it's just really good. It's called When We Left Earth.
That's a great series. I remember watching that when it came on.
Really,
I've always been a big fan of any kind of space documentary. It goes all the way back to when the 25th anniversary of Apollo was happening. TBS put out a 5-night series called Moonshot that was based on a book by Alan B. Shepard and Deke Slayton. And it was a really great book. I have the book. I actually still have a VHS copy of the documentary.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Moving on, but still oh, go ahead.
Someone was Harry says, speaking of the spacewalks, you want to talk about the space tourist spacewalk?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's coming.
Yeah, that's a great segue.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and let's see. What was it? I'm showing a tweet, but yeah. So basically, RSC Energia is, I guess, a company. They've signed a contract with Space Adventures, which is another company that kind of facilitates space tourism. There's been a few people that have actually gone up to the space station as tourists, and Space Adventures. How many?
9.
And Space Adventures is kind of the facilitator for that sort of thing. And for the first time in history, a tourist gets to go outside. That is just so incredible. Like,
that's exciting, actually. For me personally, that's pretty exciting because that's like the ultimate experience of being in space is to actually free float.
Oh yeah, because up to that point of actually going outside, the best you can get is the cupola, which the cupola is incredible, from what I understand. Because you've got a 360-degree view of the Earth, but man, to be outside and literally look wherever you want, and you could probably turn a certain way where you would have nothing man-made in your view except for your helmet. You know what I mean? you wouldn't have.
How scary.
I know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
For some people, it's scary, and for some people, they're like, "Oh yeah, I want to do that."
Yeah, I mean,
if you got a really rich person who wants to do that, I think it's something like 50 million is what they're talking for the price of this trip.
It's the good kind of scary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a great kind of scary.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know.
Have they already picked the people? Can I be one of them?
I'm sure they haven't picked the people yet, but they are planning on 2023.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I was assuming the other way, that there were already customers that were ready to go. Maybe not. Maybe it's that this company, they're like, we want to go ahead
offer this service,
set
and
aside,
this is when it will start.
Right. And then maybe they'll like auction those seats off or something to.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going to be highest bidder.
Yeah.
Something like that, because I mean, you're paying for the spacesuit, you're paying for everything, because the spacesuits they're personally fitted to each astronaut.
Yeah, and I think it'll be really interesting if they, provide coverage of that. Of course, we see EVAs a lot. They do the spacewalks a lot, but astronauts, we love them, but they're kind of dry. They're very professional. And, a lot of times in interviews, they try to get astronauts to talk about the beauty and the wonder, and not very many of them really go down that path. They talk about the job and the mission, and,
I think it's because at that point, they've gone outside to do a job that they trained specifically for that job for 6 to 12 months.
Right.
So when they get outside, they might take a moment to ingest some of that beauty and wonder, but that's not what they're there for. So a lot of them, Bob Binkin specifically was talking about this in the news conference that they did about the spacewalk. And he was saying, yes, this is my 7th spacewalk. You take a moment to take in all that beauty and wonder, but then you really have to drop that and get back to, this is my job, that this is what I'm doing for the next 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I cannot be distracted by the gorgeous blue ball that is hanging next to me.
Right. Yeah, I've heard several of them mention that, you do get these opportunities from time to time when you're, like, maybe you're waiting on your partner to accomplish a task before you can move forward with yours, and then you can kind of just enjoy the view. But yeah, they're out there to do a job, and I think it'd be really interesting to kind of ride along with a tourist that's doing it, where their sole purpose, they're not out there to change batteries or do anything like that. They're there just to admire it. I hope the people that go are really cool. Really cool.
I hope that they pick like an artist or someone like that who can really capture the essence of what that is like, from not just like a visual perspective, but like a spiritual and existential perspective.
And
now we're talking cool, like Fonzie.
You want a Fonzie to go?
I want somebody to get up and
Fonz.
stand up against the side of the thing and just like knock on it, and then a song plays like a jukebox.
Like, hey.
Spoiler, it's Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, yeah.
Oh, I could totally see Jeff Bezos doing
Seth
it.
said it's Tim Dodd. I don't know. I don't know if Tim could afford it. I mean, he's doing very well, I'm sure. But he's got a great YouTube channel. I'm not sure he's quite there yet. Which, by the way, there is this other opportunity called Space Perspective, and this look. Of course, there's not any prices on it, but I found out about this because of Cosmic Perspective. I don't think they're related in any way. They just happen to have perspective in their name. But this looks like something that might be a little cheaper. I mean, it's still going to be, 6 figures at least, I'm sure. But, this could be something that, I don't know. There might, maybe sooner, people like us might be able to do this a little bit sooner than, actually riding on a Falcon 9 or something. But check this out. I queued this up to kind of their demo video, and I love the idea. Just a big old balloon. And this capsule is like the size of like a room. Like, it looks like a dinner party inside there. And if you're going to go suborbital, if you're going to ride with Blue Origin, ride on New Shepard, that's only a 6-minute thing. And now, one caveat, these people are not experiencing zero gravity because they're not, because on a suborbital launch, you get to experience zero gravity because the capsule will be in free fall for 6-7 minutes or whatever, while this is not experiencing that. You're still standing on, you're still going to be standing on the floor, but you get that incredible view. And I have to assume that it's a much longer experience, right? I mean, they could be up there. You're muted, Matt.
My bad. I think it would end up being that particular experience would end up being more like an hour, maybe 2.
Yeah, it almost could be as long as you want, really.
Yeah.
Without, there's the risk of maybe drifting too far, depending on, what winds do. I mean, you're up there so high. I don't know what winds are like way up there, but you're gonna be going through prevailing winds in the upper atmosphere, and they're gonna kind of whatever that last push is, whatever direction it's pushing, you're going to kind of drift that direction. So they're not going to want you, to drift too far. And that might be what kind of determines how long you go. But once you fill that balloon and it goes up, it should be able to be up there as long as it wants.
Hang up there for a long time. I mean, weather balloons stay up there for a long time before they pop and
they
come
eventually
down.
pop, but they're designed to pop. Okay,
They are designed to pop.
These,
Whereas Seth is pointing out that they would be in free fall if the balloon did pop. That's actually not. They would be in free fall, but not like orbital free fall.
Well, but right. Until they started hitting atmosphere. No, you're right. They're in atmosphere. Otherwise, because with a balloon, you can only go up as high as there is atmosphere because you can't float in vacuum. The balloons don't work in vacuum. So yeah, you can only go up as high as there is vacuum. But if the balloon did pop and you started falling, yeah, you would experience zero gravity for a little while until you started hitting some thicker atmosphere, and then it actually started to decelerate the capsule, and then you'd be standing again. But yeah, you're right. You'd get a little bit, but I don't think that's the design. They don't show what coming down looks like, which would be interesting to know. Probably some kind of valve on there that just releases some of the helium. I'm assuming it's helium. Is there anything else it could be? Surely. Anything that's less dense than... Do what?
I'm not sure what they use in weather balloons, honestly.
Weather balloons, I think, is helium. Anybody in the chat know what weather balloons use? And
I should know this because I attended that weather balloon event, so I should know this, but I can't remember.
So take it away.
I want to say helium, but I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's helium. I mean, that's like kind of the go-to because it's got to be a gas that's lighter than atmosphere, lighter than the Earth's atmosphere. I'm sure there's others. Do what?
There's a lot of tanks. They had a lot of tanks that look like helium tanks.
Did they say helium on them?
I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy trying to get
usually filled with hydrogen due to lower cost, though helium can also be used.
Oh, hydrogen. Yeah. Hydrogen is like the least dense of all.
Yeah, that is the least dense.
That's right. It's hydrogen and then helium. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. And I kind of skipped ahead on yeah. So Steve Stich, here we go. We're if you're curious about when Crew Dragon's coming home.
It looks like the first opportunity to undock and come home would be around August the 2nd. We'll just have to sort of see how the EVAs go, and then we're really trying to set us up for allow that time frame in August.
So there you go. Yeah, August 2nd. That's provided the EVAs go well, and this is going to be. We were talking about this earlier in our little message chat thing. You were right. The next one. The next spacewalk is the final one. It said,
yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the final one to swap out.
I
all
had
those
forgotten
batteries.
that they were splitting the batteries into 2 separate spacewalks. That's all me.
I thought that I had read that there was still yet more to do after that, but no.
I believe there's another spacewalk, possibly. I had read somewhere that there were going to be 3 planned spacewalks for Bob while he was up there.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe there's one
So
more.
that would leave him at 9 spacewalks overall once he comes back.
Oh, wow.
Who holds the record?
For length of time on spacewalks or number of spacewalks?
Both.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look see here because I'm trying to remember spacewalk records.
Yeah.
Matt's like, I should know. I attended that spacewalk event.
The world record for most spacewalks was Anatoly Soloviev. 16 spacewalks with 82 hours outside.
Nice.
So he has both records, length
Yes.
and
Yes, length
Oh.
and number of spacewalks.
You think?
Yeah,
I
right.
wonder if it gets old. He's like,
That's
oh, that's
3.5
old hat.
days that he spent walking in space. 3.5 days of his life he was in space,
That's incredible.
like actually not inside the spaceship. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, just as a reminder, that coverage starts 6 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. That would be 10 a.m. UTC for Harry over there. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Harry knows his UTC conversion.
He should.
He should. I mean, I'll be up early, so I'll have it running because we're doing remotes early. It's I don't know 8 or 9 o'clock or something like that, and so I'll have that. I have that playing in the background as I'm riding down the road up to Kennedy Space Center. Let's see. Oh yes, and really quick, I know you guys are all following NASA spaceflight for your Starship coverage.
Actually,
But-
Jack, that it could be that thing.
They had
There
to-
it goes.
Oh, whoa!
That's so awesome.
Wow.
To failure.
I love
Okay.
seeing nitrogen
Great point,
just
actually, Jack.
spewing
It
out of
could be
there.
that thing is-
Let's
There
watch it
it
one more time.
goes.
And you hear Mary announce it
Whoa!
before. It's like there's a delay in the video. It's just so cool looking.
To
Wow.
failure.
Okay. Great.
So that was on purpose. They did say that they were going to test it to failure. They got to find the edges. Got to know how good they're doing. Did we hear? Does anybody remember? Because I don't remember if Elon or anybody said what pressure they reached. Because I know like the goal is 8. Is it 8 atmospheres? Is that the right measurement? I know
I have
the
not
magic
followed
number.
stuff.
The magic number is 8. Does. Oh, Harry. I'm guessing he means he knows his.
Yeah, he knows how to convert UTC.
Yeah.
That's what he was talking about.
And in the same vein, they did a test to failure with the SLS core, and so I thought that would be interesting to show. And boom! It was. Do what?
These water?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because really, all you need to do, you need to fill the tank up with some liquid, and then you pressurize the remaining air at the top, and that'll be the pressure for the whole thing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the way that works.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's water or what it is, and that's also why like SpaceX uses nitrogen because it's non-flammable. First
It's
of all,
non-flammable and inert.
yeah, and they wanted. I'm guessing the reason they use the liquid nitrogen because they still want to have that super cold temperature while they're testing it. Apparently, with the SLS, they were just testing pressure. They didn't necessarily need it to be super cold. But yeah, that's why you do that. You guys know
Break things now so they don't break on their way.
exactly. Yeah, find out where the edges are. Make sure
Yeah.
that all your assumptions are accurate with, how much it can take, and then push it and see if you're right, and see just how much it really can take. So it's good. You guys know we have a Starlink launch tomorrow.
Starlink 10.
Yes, the 10th batch of Starlink satellites, and now some have come down. I can't remember what the number is. Oh, actually, you know what?
3.
Only 3 satellites have come down.
That's what I read last time I did my research.
Let's see.
I will say I'm not up on my Starlink every day, like looking at stuff.
Right.
Only when there's launches happening.
So this blog, this is Tasmanian.com. You guys probably follow Evelyn Arevalo. I'm sorry if I butchered her name. But she's showing 540 satellites that have been deployed. That's not necessarily how many are up there, but the count is getting higher, and at some point they are going to be ready to start beta testing this. And I think Canada is going to be kind of like first up, because those higher latitudes where the satellites sort of clump together, in a manner of speaking. It's the way it looks on a map, but you basically have better coverage where they're clumped together, and that's where that's happening.
Yeah, you're going to have better coverage toward, like, essentially, this is the Earth. You have the satellites are coming at this angle, but when we look at it on a flat map, it becomes a sine wave.
Oh, wait, you know what? I've got that.
So where the top and the bottom of the wave is where you're going to have the best coverage, just because that's where the most satellites are.
Yeah, oh, here we go. I've got Flight Club did a little video of, yeah. So you see how when they're going across like mid latitudes, they're spaced out, and then when they're at the upper and lower latitudes, it looks like they're much more clustered together. That's just kind of a function of orbital mechanics. It's just kind of what happens. So you see these upper latitudes, and this gap here, this precesses around the Earth is rotating underneath them. So this gap precesses. It's not that.
That was a great word. I love you.
it's this shifts around, and as they fill in these gaps, then you won't even notice a gap here. It's not that the U.S. has been left out. Okay, it's just that this particular clip that he pulled. What is his name? I know his name. It's
Deacon.
Declan. That's his name. Yeah. So this particular clip that he pulled just happened to have that gap over the U.S. That will process around, and But yeah. Anyway, so these terminals, we have seen them, and they really do look like UFOs on a stick. Look at it. It doesn't look like a pizza box, like I thought it would.
Well, they were just using that for a size reference.
Right, I know, but me being a pizza guy, I was like, I'm picturing actual pizza box, like set it on your roof, like flat, square. I thought it was going to be black for some reason. And actually, we don't see, there is a black ring around here. I wonder if the sky-facing side is black.
Not sure. I haven't seen one up close and personal.
Yeah. And I think this is interesting.
Oh, there was a picture. It was white, so that black ring isn't.
Yep, there you go. And this label here is pretty neat. Property of SpaceX, prototype, not for sale or lease. This unit is intended for demonstrations use only. This device has not been authorized as required by the rules of the Federal Communications Commission. This device is not and may not be offered for sale or lease or sold or leased until authorization is obtained. Therefore, ownership must remain with SpaceX. So these things, these are not ready for consumers, y'all, but they sure do look sharp.
Been, cleared through the FCC. Basically, any piece of electronics you have, your phone, everything that you have has to be cleared through the FCC because it has to receive every signal. Whether it processes them or not, it has to be able to receive every signal.
What is that about? Why is it that way? Do you know?
I'm not really sure why they write the laws that way. That's probably something from like the 60s or 70s, to be honest.
I mean, I've noticed that like on like radios and stuff that I've had, over the years, that they say it, the label always says something like that. Like it must be able to receive all, bandwidth or whatever, all frequencies. But if you guys remember, Elon did mention at some point that these are going to be able to position themselves for optimal signal reception. And you can see here where like this cutout where it'll be able to pitch. And
it's probably got a servo motor up inside the actual dish itself.
Yeah,
and way to control that.
And I'm guessing that maybe even down here it'll have another, like, to be able to rotate it.
Yeah, I could definitely. Yeah,
I would think. Just guessing here.
or it could just be two servos up inside for the both the pitch and the yaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So interesting. I wonder if there's because I think one of the things that we kind of talk about is like, is there going to be like a mobile version that you can just take with you and put on the roof of your car? You go camping or something and still have good internet.
Thinking that you're going to just see a whole lot of Teslas with these attached right in the middle.
That'll just replace like the radio antenna.
Yep, pretty much.
I don't know. I don't know if they'd actually work that well, like in motion.
I mean, the math, you can make that work. And if it's self-controlled and can basically direct itself to whichever satellite's going to give the best signal, even while it's moving, then it theoretically, yeah, you could put that on a moving vehicle as long as that vehicle wasn't going over a certain speed.
And there's people talking and wondering if one of the test beds is on the drone ships. We should try to make a point when
get some close-up pictures of those drone ships. Maybe we can spot a UFO.
Yeah, see if we can't see something on there. That would be interesting. Yeah. I mean, they could easily hide it, before they ever get home, but it would be interesting to see.
Already know.
Yeah.
You already know, because ain't nobody got eyes out there. They already know once they start coming up to the shore that they're going to have eyes on them. So
yeah, they could. I mean, they might not.
Inside of a dome or something like that.
But
no, there's domes on there.
Yeah, that's probably one of the things inside one of those domes.
Oh, yeah. You think that? I guess, yeah. Radio waves work through. Through stuff like that.
Because they know we watching. They know we watch.
It's not made of mica, the radio wave will go through it. Mica blocks radio waves.
Because they have had better coverage of the landings lately, live, right? Like there's been the last couple have not cut out, right? Am I right about that? I know that like the last one or the second to last one, like there was no cutout at all.
The last one did not cut out, and I believe the one before that didn't cut out. But I think the one before the last one wasn't no, that was a good landing. I'm thinking like I'm still on the schedule where we only have like one launch every 3 months in my head, and we live in this weird thing. Where this is 3 launches in 1 month.
Right? Yeah, like 5 launches ago was last week.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we're going to get to the point where we don't even cover the Starlink launches. They're going to happen so frequently.
Well, that's been a fear of mine. Like they start happening so much that SpaceX is just like, nah, we're not going to do remotes and launch viewing and all that stuff. I hope not. It doesn't. I don't think it costs them much to have us out there. Because we drive our own cars anyway. It doesn't
cost them anything to have you out there. It's just, is there a market for what those pictures? Yes, there is now, but in the future, maybe there's not anymore.
When we're like 30,
when they start using Starship and putting 240 satellites up at a time.
Oh yes, glorious.
It's going to be beautiful.
I'm actually going to probably head over to Boca Chica when they do start launching Starship.
Yeah. There's going to be a trip out there at some point.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
And I read somewhere recently that SpaceX has started the process of leasing like deep ocean drilling platforms to be able to launch Starlink off of.
Yep. And Elon even confirmed it. Like it was only speculation for a little bit, and I think it was Tim Dodd that was asking about it, and he's like, "Yep, that's what we're doing. They want an ocean platform to launch from."
Yeah, and that's an old NASA idea. If you watch the oh gosh, what was it called? For All Mankind on Apple TV. They talk about the Sea Dragon launch system, which was a plan from NASA, which was to have essentially submarine launched rockets.
Yeah.
Now that's a little far-fetched, but I could definitely see them launching from ocean platforms. That's been an idea. There's been companies based around that. So
yeah.
It's a matter of time before you start seeing that happening more often than launches from land, because there's not a whole lot of land at the equator that's good for launching stuff from, and the equator is the best place to get the extra boost from the spin of the Earth.
Right.
Black Arrow is one of them.
Yeah.
What's that?
Black Arrow. There was as a sea-based launch.
Oh, okay.
company.
There was them, and there's another one called Sea. I think it's just literally called Sea Launch.
Yeah, Sea Launch wasn't the Sea Launch. That was a big rocket that actually went in the water, right? Or am I what am I thinking of? I'm not. No, that's not right.
Sea Dragon.
Sea Dragon. That was the one.
Sea Dragon was the one that was in the water, built underwater, and then launched from there. Where the Sea Launch is a company that was developed to convert abandoned oil rigs into launch platforms.
Right. All right.
I think they folded, but it's good to see that the thought is still alive out there. You know.
Yeah. And when they start launching, like if they really start getting this Earth to Earth thing going with Starship, they're going to need to put their launch facilities away from any populated areas. Of course, Boca Chica is, but it's also Boca Chica is pretty close to what's it, South Padre.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I think it's a little too close. So they're going to need to move it out into the water.
Yeah, Black Arrow Space Technologies. That's what they were planning on doing, is developing a space program to deliver low-cost orbital launches from a seaborne spaceport based out of England.
Oh, cool. Is there pictures? Can I just pull up a picture real quick?
Yeah. Their background cover photo is actually as the rocket launching from what looks like a oil rig.
Let's see, Black Arrow.
So if you go on Twitter,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go on Twitter and you'll have a better. I'll give you the handle. It is
Black Arrow rocket. That was hilarious.
What did it say?
They had a picture, and the rocket was like white, and then the cone at the top was red, so it looked like a tube of lipstick. And they called it the lipstick rocket. Right there.
Yep. Oh, well, this is their.
Yeah, Black Arrow was intended to be like the British rocket program. They were going to develop it in such a way that they could actually put people on top of the thing.
He's really good. Oh, this is a long. Oh, wait. I think I saw it. There it is. Bam. Now, is there a video of it launching? Oh, yeah, there it is.
Uh-huh. The old black and white. The Black Arrow is an old system.
Oh, wow. That's a stubby little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Curious Droid. That's a good YouTube channel, y'all.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, what was that handle, Matt?
Black Arrow Space.
There it is.
There you go. First one, and you'll see them launching what looks like an oil rig.
Oh, that's like a.
That looks like a drone
tanker.
ship, not so much
That's
like
a.
Yeah.
It looks like an oil rig, though, is what it looks like. The ship looks like an oil rig, but.
Well, like an oil rig
Well,
is
it looks
a
like an
platform.
oil transport ship. It doesn't look like platforms.
Right.
That you
Well, it looks like an oil transport that was like converted into
right.
Which I believe was the idea behind it, was that we could launch these from an autonomous ship.
Yeah, I mean that's what Blue Origin's doing. They just took a regular ship and turning it into a drone ship.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So launch tomorrow. That is 4:18.
4:18 p.m.
Now, what time is the GPS launch? That's on Tuesday, and it's about the same time. I want to say.
Yeah.
What was the time? I should remember these things. It's like I have to like watch them and take pictures or something.
I was gonna say.
You should put important information on sticky notes and stick them around.
Oh, that's right, because they didn't say in the tweet, but you have next space flight. He had the time, right? Baylor. Yeah, there it is. Details. Oh, doesn't have the time. I could have sworn he had the time on there earlier. Oh, there we go. Launch time, 1956. So 15:56. That's 3:56 p.m.
3:56 p.m.
Yeah.
Our time.
Our time, yes, Eastern time.
I mean, Harry, I would sleep through both of those if I were you, because that's like the middle of the night.
Oh, for Australia?
It's the middle of the night on the next night.
Yeah.
Australia.
In the future.
That was the craziest thing when I visited Australia, and I would call my wife, and it would be like the morning, and it would be the morning when I called her, but it would be the morning before.
Yeah.
Which also caused problems with my bank, but that's just
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she would deposit money for me to take out of the bank, but I was taking it out as soon as she would deposit it. I was a day in the future.
You were in
So
the future.
I would overdraw my account even though she had just put the money in the bank.
Great Scott! When this thing hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. All right. So we also have an update on the launch date for Mars Perseverance. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I think like right after Matt Cutshaw put this tweet out, it was like, oh, guess what? 2-day delay.
And I was like, hey, we had somebody comment. They're like, hey, they pushed it back. And I was like, yeah,
we know.
made the date already.
Yeah.
So with the Perseverance rover is being delayed 2 days due to a contamination issue on the ground side.
Yeah.
Now, they did not go into further detail as to what that means, but with a 2-day delay, it's not something that's going to be vitally important. And from what I was hearing and reading, it's looking like, yes, it's going to be 2 days. They're still within the launch window, which ends on like August 9th, but they're actually thinking they can extend that launch window all the way out to like August 15th if they absolutely had to.
Throw another booster on there. They're only using 4.
Yeah, if they throw another booster on there, they can
they probably. I mean, I don't know if it gives them that much more margin, but yeah.
They would just need a little bit of extra delta V to make the change to the trajectory.
Right. Yeah, so we don't know much about it. What I think is really fascinating is that they have their schedule down to a T so much that there's this issue and they know that it's going to delay them by 2 days.
Yeah.
There's no guesswork in there. They're just like, okay, this thing, we have to deal with this. That's a 2-day delay.
Yeah, that's what you would call in the industrial and in the spaceflight industry. You have a really good plannerman.
Yeah.
Is the person who the plannerman is the person who actually develops the schedule for maintenance and for building a thing, getting a thing ready to launch. The plannerman is the person who's in charge of the scheduling. So they have a really, really good, and I knew they would. It's freaking NASA, but they have a really, really good scheduling program that can say, okay, you're going to do this, this, and this. It's going to take this many extra hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a fantastic launch. I can't wait.
It's going to be party. I can't wait.
I'm
excited. I'm excited to see a helicopter fly on Mars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think Curiosity landing was like the first big moment that I watched live. Like, I'd already watched several things, but like I was really kind of just getting the bug back then. In 2012 when Curiosity was landing, and it was just so thrilling because they had the live view of mission control, and when the dude said touchdown confirmed, we're safe on Mars, and the whole room just went nuts. And I went nuts too.
I remember the same thing, but all the way back with the Sojourner lander.
Yeah,
1997, man. That was good times.
Yeah. So there you go. I think they had the date on there too, or the time. Oh wait, that's not. Let's see. Oh crap! It's like 9:35 a.m. I think Eastern time. Yeah. So nice little morning launch. But to me, honestly, like is as much as I'm looking forward to the launch, it's the landing that really gets me, like once it's safely on the ground, like that's when the really cool stuff starts.
We'll clear your calendar for February 22nd of 21st of next year.
Is that taken into account with the delay, the 2-day delay?
Even with the delay, they have enough delta V to still hit the February 21st landing date.
Oh, really?
date change, yeah.
Okay, so even if it delays a couple days, that doesn't change its arrival date necessarily.
No, it's not going to necessarily change the arrival date because they still have that backup Delta V that they're not using.
Oh, tricky. Atlas strong.
It is a great rocket.
Yeah, it really is. It's beautiful. I think that Atlas is, in terms of like launch and especially like for remotes, Atlas is my favorite to shoot.
Yeah, man, Atlas is a good. It's a good one, and I hope we can put remotes for Mars 2020. I don't think we will, but we'll see.
Yeah, we've heard nothing, and
yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, we won't get into that. What else? Matt, you wanted to hit on tiles.
Tiles,
Baby.
Tiles. Now this would be a good topic to have Brett on, man. To have Brett talk about this one. But yes, tiles. So the Dream Chaser has now been fitted with its tiles, or it's being fitted with its heat tiles. This is a big thing. This is what everybody refers to as the mini space shuttle.
Yep.
That's going to be launched several times from, again, as we're talking about the Atlas. It's going to be launching from the my apologies. It's going to be launching from the Vulcan. I keep forgetting that the Vulcan is coming up.
Oh, is it? I thought that it's still gonna. Yeah. Is it not gonna launch at all from the Atlas? Is it only gonna be Vulcan, or?
Because I don't. From what I read, it's only going to be Vulcan that launches from. But any delay in the Vulcan, they can launch it on an Atlas. The 5 booster configuration.
Yeah,
because of the weight of the vehicle. But they back to that rotating space station that Gateway is talking about. They want to have one of these for every passenger compartment on that Gateway as an emergency escape vehicle.
Oh, good for them. Oh man, that's great news for Sierra Nevada.
So you're talking about like the size of the space station that they want to build. They're talking about having 40 of these things attached to it. And they would permanently be attached to it until they are used as an escape vehicle.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that's cool, man.
I was super disappointed. This is, I can't remember which year it was, but when they announced the contracts for commercial crew, I was really pulling for Sierra Nevada. Of course, I was obviously pulling for SpaceX too, but, I hope Boeing gets everything working and stuff, but I was really looking forward to seeing this little like miniature space shuttle fly with people on board. But I am really glad that they nailed the cargo contract, the CRS-2 cargo contract.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is going to be launching next year. 2021 is the launch date again for Vulcan. No, not Atlas. Sorry, we're talking about Atlas, and I've been working all day, so my brain's still fried. We'll be launching on the Vulcan, which is going to be again a very beautiful rocket.
Oh,
God,
boy.
the Vulcan is going to be something else.
Yeah.
So we'll be launching 2021 is when we get to see this bad boy finally fly with the mini space shuttle, and you can see there them putting all those heat tiles on there.
That's so pretty.
Have they given us even like a quarter or a season that Vulcan's going to be ready? Because in my mind, I've got like springtime, but I don't know if I'm just being optimistic.
The only thing I've seen is just 2021. I don't know of like early, if we're talking spring, summer, fall. I don't know. I'm just hearing 2021. They're making great progress, though. Vulcan's going to be ready before we know it.
I think so, yeah. They're chugging along.
Tory time lapse. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tory time lapses. Yeah.
Tory time lapses is always about the Vulcan, so
yep.
They're getting it done.
Is there anything else? Is there anything in chat that we have missed? 100% Vulcan from Seth. Yeah, them Atlas Flames. That's right. Yeah, I like any rocket with the solids on there because it's got that trail. It's just so photogenic with the big trail coming out the end.
Yeah, when you have the solids, you definitely get the it stays in the air. It's not like with the methane and oxygen where it just kind of burns off and becomes a mist. You actually get something that stays in the air for a long time.
Seth, to answer your question, yes, the Dream Chaser is 100% reusable. It's actually going to be coming back in and actually landing on the shuttle strip. Is the plan. It's going to be coming back, going to be landing on the shuttle strip. That's going to be cool all in itself because what if media gets invited out to be out there when it lands?
Mm-hmm.
How freaking cool is that going to be?
Yeah,
Like,
that'll
how
be
cool is that going to be able to be out there with the camera, seeing it coming in and landing and everything? That's going to be cool, man. Kind of like the X-37B. Same thing.
except we don't
Mini
get
shuttle.
invited for that.
No,
Nobody
right.
gets invited for that.
Nobody gets invited for that.
So for Vulcan, I have Q2 of 2021, and that's going to be the Peregrine lander, which is heading to the moon.
When?
That's Q2 of 2021. So you're looking at April, May, and June.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
then the second launch is scheduled for September of 2021, and that's going to be the first Dream Chaser launch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. September.
And they have 5 more launches on the contract for Dream Chaser.
They sure do.
Only 5? I thought that it was.
Well, 6 total.
I thought it was a bigger contract than that. Maybe it's just kind of a see how it goes, and then they'll probably tack some more on there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's gonna happen.
Yeah, they got to test to make sure to see if it actually can actually come back into atmosphere and land.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be a test too. So the first launch is not only going to be just first launch; it's going to be a test flight too.
Right. This is true.
And it will be encapsulated. Everybody thinks like, oh, it's just going to launch by it. No, it's going to be
Yeah.
encapsulated.
It would be cool to be able to see it on top of the rocket, but no, you
Oh,
won't.
It would.
That would be so cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be sexy.
It would just be too much R&D to make sure that it would actually fly with those wings on there. So it's easier to just fold the wings up, put it inside a fairing.
Yeah.
That would be amazing, though.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that is a show.
Yeah, man.
So stay tuned because everybody's gonna be taking photos tomorrow of the launch, and so if you're not here, follow the SpaceX webcast. Obviously, they'll have it on. It usually starts about 15 minutes before launch. I'll be out there tomorrow morning, so I'll post some photos on Twitter and Instagram and whatever. Let's see, like, subscribe, review, blah blah blah.
Demolish the like button.
Demolish, destroy that subscribe button.
Implode upon it.
Thanks you guys for being there. Astro Guy, Stephanie, Seth, Harry Stranger. Anybody else I missed up
Harry's
there?
already gone, dude. He went to bed.
Oh, poor Harry. It's
Poor
it's
Harry.
it's late down under. All right. Yeah, that's
Maybe
a
he
show.
went to work. I'm not sure.
Maybe, who knows?
Hollywood Land. It's late in Hollywood Land.
All right, peace out, y'all. We don't have Keagle, obviously. He kind of wussed out like last minute.
Shutting down. There you go.